Have you ever felt like the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is a single decision? It's not luck, not timing, and definitely not talent. It's you, right now, choosing to step up. This isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about living as if you're already ready, even when that little voice says you're not. Sometimes the hardest part of life isn't the obstacles. It's realizing that you're the one holding yourself back. Between where you stand now and where you dream to be lies one powerful bridge, the decision to rise. Not fate, not circumstances, not someone giving you permission, just you choosing to show up and believe you're worthy of more. And the Stoics, they believed in this too. Epictetus taught, we can't control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. And today, we're talking about one of the most powerful responses available to you. Choosing to act as if you are already your best self. Let's be honest, everyone hears that voice of doubt. The one that whispers, you're not ready yet, or you're not good enough. But what if I told you, you don't have to wait to feel ready? The truth is, you become the best not by waiting for ideal conditions, but by showing up with the mindset that you already have what it takes. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful emperors, reminded himself daily, focus on what you can control. Act with virtue, no matter the chaos around you. This isn't about pretending. It's not a performance. It's about stepping into your higher self, even when the path ahead is uncertain. So today's video dives deep into that mindset, the one that can radically shift how you pursue goals, handle setbacks, and live each moment. It's not about faking anything. It's about becoming the version of you that already exists deep down, the version waiting for your permission to emerge. If you find value in what we're creating here, I ask one small favor. Hit the subscribe button. It's free, and it truly helps support the channel. Let's begin. The moment you choose to live up to your full potential is the moment everything begins to change. Not because circumstances shift, but because you do. And as Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This decision to be your best starts in your mind. But how do we live out that mindset in a way that's real, grounded, and authentic? Let's find out in the next part. In the last part, we talked about how deciding to live up to your full potential can begin to transform your life. But that transformation doesn't come from ego. It comes from a deeper place, choosing to act with virtue every day, not for applause, but because it's the right thing to do. Marcus Aurelius embodied this. He didn't act for glory or praise. He acted out of principle. He saw each day as a new opportunity, not to compete with others, but to compete with himself, to strive for excellence beyond yesterday's self. When you decide to be the best, it doesn't mean you'll never stumble. The Stoics were very clear. Life is filled with obstacles, but those very obstacles are what shape us. They mold our character. They test our resolve. So by choosing to be your best, you also choose to face these challenges directly. You turn them into stepping stones, you grow, you strengthen, you become wiser. And this is when your life truly begins to shift. Not when the timing is perfect, not when everything falls into place, but when you make the choice, here and now, to act with purpose and belief. From that decision, everything else begins to align. Your standards rise. Your actions start matching your vision, and you move closer to the person you know you're capable of becoming. That's the real power of choosing to be your best. And when I say act as if you are the best, I'm not talking about arrogance. It's not about looking down on others or pretending to be superior. It's about holding yourself to the highest possible standard, not for approval, but for your own inner growth. Picture yourself as a world-class athlete or a master craftsman. Their confidence doesn't come from boasting, it comes from discipline, consistency, and relentless self-improvement. Think about how Marcus Aurelius carried himself as emperor. He didn't believe he was perfect. He didn't see himself as better than anyone else. He saw himself as a student of life, always learning, always striving to do what was right. That's the mindset we're aiming for. Acting as if you're the best doesn't mean pretending you know it all or never making mistakes. It means showing up with the belief that you are fully capable of handling what life throws at you. And that belief influences how you walk, how you speak, how you carry yourself. When you believe you're the best, you act like it. And people notice quietly, subtly, but unmistakably. The Stoics would remind us, true confidence isn't loud, it's internal. It comes from living in alignment with your values and giving your best effort in every moment. The key difference? Arrogance seeks to elevate you above others. Stoic confidence lifts you toward your own highest potential. So how do you hold on to that mindset when life tests you? We'll explore exactly that in the next part. We've just explored how acting as if you're the best isn't about arrogance. It's about lifting yourself up to meet your highest potential. And as the Stoics taught us, that pursuit always walks hand in hand with humility and groundedness. You're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming for progress, always improving, always learning, always moving forward. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I'm not the best. Not even close. How can I act like I am? That feeling is completely valid. It's natural to look at where you are now and feel like you don't measure up. But here's the key. You don't have to already be at the top to act like you belong there. In fact, that's what makes this mindset so powerful. It works even before you get there. Acting as if you're the best doesn't mean lying to yourself or being delusional. It means shifting your internal lens, choosing to view yourself not by your limitations, but by your potential. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that we can't control external events, but we can always control our mindset and our responses. So even if you're not the best right now, you can still choose to carry yourself with confidence, discipline, and purpose, qualities the best consistently embody. And when you start showing up that way, something profound begins to happen. You start to believe it, and once you believe it, you start to become it. This isn't wishful thinking or fake confidence. It's a proven psychological process. Your beliefs shape your actions, and over time, your actions shape your reality. The Stoics knew this well. Your mindset drives your behavior, and your behavior creates your future. Think about a job interview. If you walk in nervous, doubting yourself, believing you're not good enough, chances are your performance will reflect that. But if you walk in with the mindset, I'm the right person for this job, you speak with clarity, confidence, and belief in your value. The entire energy shifts. Even if you don't get the job, that mindset prepares you for the next one. You've practiced courage. You've strengthened resilience, so when you catch yourself saying, I'm not the best, the Stoics would gently remind you that's not the point. The point is to act as if you are, because that choice elevates you. It helps you align your behavior with the person you're becoming. The goal is never perfection, it's a commitment to constant refinement, to living a life of discipline, learning, and inner strength. That's the Stoic way. But what happens when you live this way long enough? Let's find out. In the next part, in the previous part, we explored how acting as if you're the best is not about ego, but about aligning your behavior with your highest self. Now we step deeper into the path of refinement. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This means that no matter how far you've come, there's always room for growth. The best in every field, be it sports, business, or philosophy, never stop learning. They remain students of life, always refining, always evolving. When you act as if you're the best, you commit to that same process of mastery. You're saying, "I will carry myself like the best, and I will put in the work to become it." This mindset comes from humility, not pride. The Stoics held humility as a deep virtue. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men in history, would remind himself daily to stay grounded and keep improving. He never saw his position as the finish line. He saw it as a responsibility to pursue personal excellence. Every single day, when you adopt this mindset, you're doing the same. You aim to be better today than you were yesterday, knowing that growth is not a destination, it's a lifelong pursuit. Acting as if you're the best also means raising your personal standards. You take full ownership of your growth in every area of life. In your relationships, you start asking, what would the best version of me do in this moment? How would the best partner, friend, or parent act? You're not pretending to be flawless. You're working to show up better. Every day, one step closer to your highest self. When it comes to health, the same principle applies. You act as if you're already in peak condition. You ask yourself, if I believed I could achieve peak health, how would I treat my body? What choices would I make around food, exercise, and daily habits? The Stoic path is about self-discipline and making deliberate choices that support long-term strength and well-being. Now let's be honest, when you hear act as if you're the best, it might sound strange, maybe even fake, but here's the truth. What you consistently practice becomes who you are. The Stoics knew this. Seneca famously said, "We become what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So if you consistently practice confidence, you start feeling confident. If you repeatedly make disciplined choices, discipline becomes part of your identity. Let's break it down. At first, acting like the best might feel unnatural. You might think, who am I to walk like this, to speak like I matter? But that's the beauty of human nature. We are endlessly adaptable. And the Stoics believed it too. Our minds and actions shape who we become. And once you begin shifting from within, let's talk about what happens next in the upcoming section. In the last section, we explored how what you repeatedly practice shapes who you become. And nowhere is that more evident than in how you develop confidence, discipline, and virtue. Through daily actions, think of personal growth like building a muscle. Lifting weights feels awkward and hard at first, but over time, with repetition, your strength increases. Acting as if you're the best works the same way. Every time you practice it, you reinforce the mindset. Eventually, it's no longer something you put on. It becomes a part of who you are. The Stoics understood this process well. Epictetus often reminded his students, we don't control the world, but we do control how we respond to it. By practicing virtuous behavior, we realign our inner self with who we want to become. Let's say you want to become more confident in social settings. At first, it may feel awkward, like you're putting on a mask, but the more you practice, standing tall, speaking clearly, and engaging with people, the more you genuinely begin to feel confident. Eventually, you realize that this isn't an act anymore, this is actually who I've become. And this doesn't just apply to confidence. If you repeatedly make healthy choices, you become someone who naturally lives a healthier lifestyle. If you manage your money well over time, you become someone who is financially secure. The Stoic principle of practicing virtue teaches us something powerful. You don't have to wait for change. You can create it through consistent daily action. And the key word here is consistency. It's not about doing something once and expecting a transformation. It's about showing up every day, practicing the traits that align with your highest self. Eventually, what once felt like practice becomes your reality. You become the best version of yourself by repeatedly acting like it. As the Stoics taught, your actions shape your character, and your character shapes your life. So keep practicing, because every single day, your reality is being built, one choice at a time. Now, when we talk about acting like you're the best, it's easy to think it means ignoring flaws or pretending you don't have any, but in truth, it's the exact opposite. Acting like you're the best requires the courage to face your weaknesses, to acknowledge where you fall short, and to use those moments as catalysts for growth. The Stoics were masters of this mindset. They taught that self-awareness and honest reflection are essential ingredients for improvement. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And part of that strength is knowing where you're not yet where you want to be, not to feel shame, but to learn and evolve. Because the best people in any field, well, who are they really? Let's discover that in the next part. In the previous section, we talked about facing your flaws, not with shame, but with the determination to grow. That's what truly sets the best apart. They don't believe they're flawless. In fact, they often understand their weaknesses better than anyone else. But they don't let those weaknesses define who they are. Instead, they use them as fuel for continuous growth. The Stoics believed that challenges and discomfort are natural parts of life. Epictetus reminded us that the path to mastery demands we face obstacles with resilience. When we clearly see our shortcomings, we can approach them with a mindset of improvement, not avoidance. Think about it this way. If you ignore your weaknesses, they don't disappear. On the contrary, they tend to grow quietly and more disruptive over time. But if you acknowledge them and take steps to improve, you become stronger, more capable, more centered. To the Stoics, weakness isn't failure. It's an opportunity to practice arete, the pursuit of excellence through virtue. When you face your weaknesses with discipline and honesty, you give yourself a real chance to evolve. This process requires genuine humility. Acting like you're the best doesn't mean thinking you're perfect. It means committing to a path of continuous growth, being confident in your strengths while fully aware of where you still need to improve. Seneca, in particular, wrote often about the importance of learning from every experience, especially failure. He believed that setbacks are among our greatest teachers because they expose the areas where we need to grow and push us to develop skills or strength we may lack. The key: see your flaws not as something to hide, but as a natural part of your development. Face them honestly, commit to improving, and in doing so, you take control of your growth. That's where true strength lies. In the ability to confront what's holding you back, and in the discipline to overcome it step by step. The Stoic approach is simple. Every challenge, including your own shortcomings, is fuel for personal evolution. So when you act as if you're the best, you're not pretending to be perfect. You're demonstrating that you're strong enough to face what's real, to learn from it, and to grow into the person you aspire to be. And here's something beautiful. This mindset doesn't just elevate your life, it lifts others too. The Stoics believed in sympathia, in the idea that we are all deeply connected. Our actions ripple outward. They matter. When you pursue excellence, when you live with confidence, discipline, and integrity, you inspire those around you. You raise the bar. You become a quiet force for better. and that changes more than just your world. In the last section, we explored how your growth affects more than just you. It lifts everyone around you. And that becomes especially clear when you observe how a single person's energy can shape their environment. Think about someone in your life, family, friends, co-workers, who carries themselves with intention, presence, and quiet confidence. They don't need to say much. Their actions, their posture, their presence, it all speaks volumes. They become a natural source of inspiration. And when you act as if you're the best, you do the same. You show others, especially those struggling with doubt or confusion, that it's possible to rise above it all by adopting the right mindset. The Stoics weren't focused on competition in the modern sense. They didn't seek to beat others, but rather to help others rise through virtue and wisdom. So when you raise your standards and strive for excellence, you don't just lift yourself. You create a space where others are inspired to do the same. Acting like you're the best means embodying traits that people respect and admire. And when you do that, you not only improve your own life, you contribute to the growth of everyone around you. That's the ripple effect of positive change, just as the Stoics envisioned. But your impact doesn't stop with success. It also shows in how you deal with failure. Failure is universal, and the Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that failure is not something to fear, but rather a natural part of life's journey. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the path that leads to it. When you act as if you're the best, you're not pretending you'll never fail. You're choosing to meet failure with resilience. You understand that every setback is a lesson, that growth lives inside discomfort. The Stoics taught us to focus on what we can control. We can't control every outcome, but we can always control how we respond. So instead of seeing failure as a defeat, see it as feedback, a message about what didn't work and what to try next. Epictetus reminded his students, failure should be accepted as part of life and used as a tool to strengthen your character. It's not a reason to give up. It's a reason to continue with deeper insight and greater resilience. When you face failure with the Stoic mindset, you stop avoiding it. You embrace it as a chance to practice perseverance and flexibility. The best in any field, whether in business, sports, or philosophy, aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who know how to rise again, stronger each time, because, as the Stoics taught us, our true strength doesn't come from never falling. It comes from how we rise when we do. So how do we use those falls to build something greater? Within, we'll explore that in the next part. As we said before, true strength isn't about never falling. It's about how you rise after you fall. So the next time you fail, remember this isn't the end of the story. It's a necessary step on the road to greatness. Acting as if you're the best isn't a one-time decision. It's a choice you make again and again, every single day. Stoics believed that transformation doesn't come from fleeting motivation, but from consistent, deliberate action. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself in Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." That's what it means to show up every day, with focus, with purpose, with intention. The beauty of this mindset is that you don't need to wait until you feel ready. The Stoics knew that waiting for the perfect moment often leads to inaction. Instead, they taught us to begin right here, right now, with what we have. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. Every day you act as if you're the best. You're reinforcing the traits that will one day define you. What begins as a conscious choice slowly becomes second nature. And this isn't about arrogance or pretending. It's about aligning your actions with your highest potential and choosing to strive for excellence in all you do, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal growth. This mindset helps you raise your standards and live each day with deeper meaning. As the Stoics taught us, we control our actions, and through those actions we shape our lives. So make this a daily ritual. Each morning, ask yourself, how would the best version of me approach this day? With that question guiding your steps, you'll find yourself walking every day toward the life you are fully capable of living. One decision at a time, one action at a time. Thank you for being part of Stoicism Philosophy Daily. If you want to continue growing with us, check out the suggested video on your screen. Stay strong, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one.